So now, moving on to the international news, which I do feel will have some impact on the Middle East. The first one is, which was shared by Gulf News, the banks are set for the biggest job loss since 2015. More than 50 banks will be cutting down on their staff because they expanded too aggressively. There will be a total of 77,780 jobs will be lost. You could say the highest was in 2015 when 91,000 jobs were lost, 91,448. So this time they say it's 77,000 jobs. I feel in the Middle East, at least 50% of the banks will reduce in terms of their number of people, because that is why mergers are taking place. That is why they are outsourcing jobs, because they need to cut down on overhead. So please make sure that you are prepared for this. I always tell people, make sure your resume is completely ready. Make sure that you approach a professional. And a resume is not about copy paste, which I always tell people. It's reading each and every word in that resume, understanding that the word should match your personality, that it should sell you to the employer. Avoid generic stuff like dynamic, hardworking, excellent in communication, is a leader, so many years experience, all this, or informing the person, this is what I used to do in the office. This doesn't add any value. Sell yourself. Sell yourself by telling them how you can actually prove to be a benefit to the company, how you can stand out from the rest of the competition, how you are positioning yourself as an industry leader. This takes a little bit of work, okay? Approach a professional, sit down with them. I generally, when I work with my clients, it takes around 2 weeks to design a simple basic resume. Well, if you're a college fresher or you're someone who's only asking for $1,000, I can do it in an hour. But when you're talking of a professional who is looking for a salary increment, or who's looking for a job in an industry where he wants to get a 40% increase, this takes thought, this takes effort. So please be prepared for it. The reason I'm telling you prepare is maybe the next news will wake you up. This one is from Bloomberg, and it's from quite a number of the business-based articles, news links or media houses. Houston-based McDermott, which was one of the global leaders in, which build oil platforms and, provide services for gas export plants. They are filing for bankruptcy. They reported a loss of revenues of 2.1 billion, net loss of 1.9 billion, and they also lost a lot in terms of their shares. They need $2 billion to revive themselves, which I doubt anyone would want to take the risk. The reason being is engineering companies and construction firms have lost 90% of their values. That was in 2019. You have many of the top CEOs and CFOs resigning and leaving because, people like to believe it's because of their hard work or their vision that they can steer a company to success. But if the market is going down, you can do only so very little. It's very rare that you get visionaries like Elon Musk. Most of the people are generally just trying to juggle different balls and just trying to make things work. But end of the day, it's very simple maths. You cut down your expenses, cut down your overheads, focus on pushing people towards aggressive sales, getting deals on cost-to-cost basis or with very small margins. That's how you survive. So this is McDermott. They are cutting down people. And in the Middle East, many oil companies will be terminating staff who are being paid excessively, and they'll be retaining only those who actually work and prove their worth. United States, for those who are thinking of migrating there and thinking life is very easy, this news was a shocker to me because Washington Post reports that the employment green card has a backlog of 800,000 people, predominantly Indians. So you have 800,000 immigrants who are working legally in USA, but they are waiting for their green card. And nobody's talking about it because the focus is Donald Trump and the wall and the problems that the impeachment process is taking right now. But here it seems that this is a real issue. And if you are in the United States and you're one of those immigrants, you'll have to wait at least 50 years to get a green card. Speaking about Indians and India, In India, BBC.com reported that Indian university teaches doctors about ghosts. It seems that they believe ghosts do exist, and they teach that. So it's pretty questionable how valid or how much value Indian education is abroad. That is why if anyone from India were to go to Canada or USA or anywhere in the West, they don't take your education so very seriously unless it's from an Ivy League or from a reputed university. They ask you to reappear for the exam, or if you go there, let's say in your 30s, they will ask you to join the most basic low-level job, and there you have to start from scratch. So that is why if you're planning to migrate, I always tell people, study something in that country that you're planning to migrate, get a degree, a master's from there, and then you'll be recognized. And speaking about Indians, well, I don't know if you saw my video about CAA and that NRC or NCR, NRC, National Register for Citizens. Yeah, okay. I spoke about why Salman Khan, Amir Khan, Shah Rukh Khan, those are Indian film actors, in case you do not know, and Sadhguru, who's an Indian god man, why they spoke or didn't speak about these issues. But here you have a BJP worker who, for the love of Modi, has, uplifted him to the position of God. So he has built a temple for Prime Minister Modi, and he worships Modi as God, and he considers him to be like God. So those of you who admire Modi to that level, well, here is something good for you, that you can worship Modi if you like. However, for the people who don't actually worship Modi, who consider him to be a leader, this news, which was released on September 17, 2019 from Bloomberg, it says that Modi's so-called claim that he's going to make India's economy $2 trillion, which is really like, wow, I've never heard of that number being talked about in India. Well, it doesn't seem to be coming to reality. The reason being is most of the investors are now withdrawing their money from the Indian market. Thanks to Modi's leadership, you have to give credit where credit is due. He convinced foreign investments or foreign investors to invest $45 billion into the Indian economy. So they did in the last 6 years. However, they are seeing that, all these big promises are not actually happening. So slowly, people are withdrawing. It seems it has been the biggest exodus this year since 1999. As per this article, it's in the euphoria about Modi from 2014 has tapered off, and now for 5 straight quarters, the economy is slowing down. Car sales have shrunk, capital investment has plunged, unemployment rate has climbed to a 45-year high. The nation's banking system is crashing because it has a bad loan repayment ratio. So I'll be pretty interested to know, if you're a Modi supporter, what do you think about this? Is this fake news? Is this real news? Or, I'm talking of Bloomberg. I'm not talking of any other, publishing house. And if you're still a Modi supporter, this news was making rounds. A man from Udupi, that is from Mangalore, where my mother and my stepfather is from, it seems that this guy abused the Saudi king and called on social media for a mandir, or that is a temple, to be built in Mecca to support the faith or support Modi. He claims to be a Modi supporter. However, the twist in the story is his family says that his Facebook account was hacked, and they are saying that these allegations are false. This guy, his name is Bangera, what's his full name? I can't get his name here. Okay, so this guy, his name is Bangera. I'll put his name if I get it later. He was working as a AC mechanic in a factory in Saudi Arabia for this company, Gulf Carton Factory Company. Okay. Oh, his name is Harish Bangera. Okay. So Gulf Carton, they distanced themselves from him. In a Facebook post, they said, it was posted by this guy, Musa Abdullah. He said, Gulf Carton has released a statement stating, we at Gulf Carton Factory Company want your attention to what happened in relation to the unethical posts by Harish Bangera from his personal Facebook account. It was unacceptable, and we have immediately terminated Mr. Harish Bangera from his duties and company contract. We condemn such activities, and we have reported this to the police, the Ministry of Labour, and Saudi authorities for further action. We assure everyone that we have zero tolerance for such acts. Respectfully, Engineer Mashari A.M. Jabbar, General Manager for Gulf Carton Factory Company. Well, it's pretty obvious. When you're in a country, respect the laws, even if you don't agree with their religious views or the leader or whatever. Once you leave the country, then you can speak your mind. But when you're in the country, especially if you're an immigrant or especially if you are a worker, respect the country. Then what do you think? What are your views? Do you think his account was hacked? Do you think it was a fake news? I did get a message from somebody who said that his account was indeed hacked because he doesn't speak English. So he didn't speak English. Who posted it is a big question. So let me know your thoughts. I'm very interested. I keep an open mind. I'm not saying that he's bad or Modi said, hey, for him to do this. But I can tell you something, that Modi is not going to interfere in Saudi law, because you break a rule, and nobody's interested in this poor, low wage earners. If you're a celebrity or if you're someone big, yes, you can pull strings, but if you're poor, nobody cares.